Hello, everyone. My name is Joy Hammond, and I'm a senior at Messiah University. I apologize in advance for the quality and audio of this recording, but anyway, let's begin. I'm a social science fellow, and I learned about this opportunity through Messiah's mass emails, as well as my own department sharing the information. I'm going to share my screen, and we'll get started. All right. So my program was designed to promote student engagement and leadership development to ignite social change in schools, communities, and the world around them through STEAM-based initiatives. Now, a lot of people know what STEM is, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. But with STEAM, you're adding another element, and that is art. So my program has 3 different areas that a student can work at, and that would be Foundry MakerSpace, which is researching project-based learning assignments and adding those to the database so teachers can use that. The STEAM ecosystem of the greater capital region is communicating with neighborhood associations around the area and gathering any information about local activities on STEAM. Community classrooms is following up with site point people, communicating with parents, caregivers, and volunteers, and also researching local, state, and national best practice for K-12 remote learning or alternative teaching strategies. Now, I'm only going to be talking about Foundry MakerSpace because that's where I've worked mostly at. But if you want to learn more about like the STEAM ecosystem or the community classrooms, there's other social science fellows at the symposium, and you can visit their presentations. So about me and my role. I'm a senior social work major with a Spanish minor. I started interning at Foundry MakerSpace during the fall of 2020. My role consists of finding learning resources for K-12 grade teachers and also managing the grant database and working on community events such as the Makership Midtown Festival and connecting communities convening. So here's the rest of my team. I have John, who works with me at the Foundry MakerSpace. There's Bethany, who works at the Greater Capital Region, and Becca, who works at Community Classrooms. Chad Fry, he's our supervisor, and he's also the president and founder of the Partnership Planners. We have staff meetings once a week, and we give updates on our progress, as well as bouncing off ideas. One of my tasks is managing the grant database for Foundry MakerSpace. There's currently about 31 entries in the database, and all of these grants are educational grants. And that is focusing on enhancing student learning with needed supplies or financial support for specific STEAM projects. And it's really cool to have an opportunity at this internship to learn more about grants, especially since, because it's just, yeah. Anyway, so grants are established by nonprofits, business corporations, or the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and government. These grants, they can be like open application with requirements or invitation only. Grant creation is when you want to just create a grant. So that would involve like brainstorming, coming up with the application process, having the evaluation and award if people are getting applications, administration close. That's basically when you yourself have money, you're creating a grant, and you want to share it with the rest of the community, whatever organization. Grant application is when you're on the receiving end of things. And that would be when you are looking at any grants that are available and you want to apply to them for their financial assistance. So what you'd want in a grant application is to have maybe a cover letter, an executive summary, a needs assessment, project description, an estimated budget of how much you might need, as well as supplemental documentation, whatever they ask for you. Community outreach is another task that I have, and that's organizing community events. So that's researching about like the event topic and the theme, contacting local businesses and organizations that could be involved. It's also gathering supported research, services, and support for the event. It's reviewing any resource list that might be happening and publishing all of that research for public access so other people can use it. And it's also managing the event schedule and providing assistance. And I'm going to show you an example of the business letter that I created. So this is the MakerShift event. And basically what I wrote down was I put like an official of like inviting you to the event. I said who sponsored the event, as well as the time and the date. I also explained a little bit what the event might be about. And then I explained any requirements that we had. Since the MakerShift is talking about like finding businesses who want to do STEAM presentations, this little like all the bullet points is about explaining, more details about that. And then at the end, I put in the link about where the event page is, as well as our contact information. All right. So yeah, that's one of our events. Our second event is actually connecting communities convening. So if you're interested in the MakerShift event, which I showed you that letter for, John is actually talking more about that in his presentation. So you can go check that out. All right, connecting the communities convening. That's going to happen April 22nd from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And that's actually a virtual event, so you can attend it if you want. So as Pennsylvania's statewide emergency protections for renters expired, a convening was being created to address the lack of affordable housing and meaningful connection between the local communities. So this convening is about bringing together organizations that focus on housing and brainstorming solutions to these socioeconomic challenges. The theme for the convening was titled as Neighboring and Housing, as together we will explore these topics and use a systems approach to better understand how we can partner to make a more collective versus isolated impact on our region. And it's a really interesting event. They have 6 dimensions that they wanted to focus on, and that's dimensions are prevention, intervention, stabilizing, recovering, research evaluation, and neighboring. And those are really good dimensions in terms of just focusing on one aspect, because each group will be focusing on a different area, which will help in terms of all the different moving parts that might be happening in housing. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you where that event page is, and yeah. So this is the event page. It's called messiahconnection.com. And so here's the event. And you can scroll down to see all the information about it, as well as the agenda. And you go to resources. And basically, this is the event page that I use mostly, this website. So you scroll down. This is where all the different areas that they're working at, as well as giving you more detail about what the dimensions mean. What I did was I found resources for this convening and I submitted them. And so that'd be like adding a community, the resources, the summary, description. And what's really good about that is that it builds up your researching skills, and putting them in the database is good because they're actually at the event, they're going to be using those resources. So it's really cool to just know that you're going to have that. And what will happen is that during the event, with all the brainstorming, they're actually going to come up with a white paper policy. If you don't know what that is, well, that's basically when we write up this document and with all of our ideas in a formal way and give it out to our officials and see if it'll be useful for them in creating housing policies, which is really cool. All right. Sorry, I'm breaking to the slide. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. It just went through all of them. My bad, guys. All right. So at my internship, I actually managed to develop a lot of skills. And I think that is really good. So those are all the skills that I learned. I know that others at this internship actually learned other skills. What I really think was really cool about this was that I learned so much. This is a really good internship in terms of learning how to network and understanding how everything is connected in its own little way. Because I'm a social work major, I get to have a field placement in other areas. And it's really cool to find out how things connect. Like last year, I worked at Brethren Housing Association. And then this year, I'm working with a convening that's doing about housing. Isn't that cool? Anyway, as well as faith and personal experience, like I said before, networking is one of the huge things. But you also learn about integrity, collaboration, initiation, and research. And it's really great to know to just work on a team. And it really helps in terms of like needing to learn how to rely on others. And that's something I struggle with sometimes because, you have those deadlines and you're kind of worried because you're not really sure if the other person is, working on their side, but it's really trusting who you're working with. And it's a really good lesson to be learning. As well as integrity, and that would be about, putting in the timesheets and making sure that you're actually doing that work, because this internship requires that you work for at least 10 hours a week and then add in your times on the timesheet. So if you want to learn more about the Foundry Maker Shift event, or if you want to learn more about the program and what we do, like I said before, you can visit these other presentations. And yeah. So if you're a student at Messiah and you're interested in this internship, I'm going to show you just one more thing. You can go to this website, Social Science Fellows. You can scroll down. It tells you a little bit more detail about what the program is. And it tells you the qualifications to be a fellow, as in like a strong GPA, having a major, being in the major of School of Business Education and Social Science, as well as being at least having sophomore status and having a faculty recommendation and going to any of the events. All you have to do is click the student fellow application. And then after that, you email out the application, and then you kind of wait and see what happens. It's really simple, and I would encourage you all to encourage all the students to look at this internship or any other opportunity like this, because it really taught me a lot in terms of, any real world jobs and working on a team, enhancing my research skills. And yeah, so thank you for hearing my presentation, and I hope you learned a lot. If you have any questions, all you have to do is just email me, and I'm sure my email is listed somewhere down below. And that's it. Have a nice day.